Hello there, folks. Hello there. Let me say something even before I start. My only regret today I have a major regret. The only regret I have today is that I'm not wearing my red shirt too. I didn't notice it. I should have been in red. Do you know why? Because my eye red. They say in Chi, many call. I swear to God. You know, all this time, all the matters of the GOLDBOD issues and things, I laid back. And I think I even said it on my show that I don't want to jump into it until I understand the full thing. Because it's a very complex thing. And I mellowed for a while. Even when Afenyo was here, I said, you talk.
And the IMF, August year, on report on the Babontia, the lull of last week, now the minority for Yakam. And the Minya Abena or Asare Ekebi. Oppong Nkrumah Kasaya. And a Miaso Mebe Kebi. Wafa, IMF for reporting essay GOLDBOD Aboka 22 billion cedis. That is 1.7 billion US dollars. And on matro letter ma buying say on take certain steps be inferencia. For the Amin Bisani say ban saying what happened?
Talk plenty. I know Sammy Jeffy is coming. When he's coming, I'll listen to him too. I've heard you. I'll listen to him too. Then I'll make my own judgment of what I think. Me Kasafa Fefeni Adi, but I will also be the first to admit that I don't understand the intricacies of the gold financing and all those things. You know? I try to learn as much. All I know now is this. I think the minority has put forward some very good questions and concerns. And what I know is that Sammy Jeffy has decided that there should be some parliamentary committee, if you want, set up the committee, invite him, and then one-on-one, he can explain everything, whether it's me or to you, and it's a different issue. And then I also read today that he's going to be featured with the accountability series to explain. So I'm not saying what you have done is wrong or anything. I'm just saying I would like to listen to him too. And then says, so this is all you're saying. So after all, now the Afenyo can right. Or Afenyo must be a Musomati because this is the explanation.
Okay.
That to me is the way we can hold this nation and move it forward. And today, many are recall. Because let me tell you something. If we, and when I talk about we, if we who are interested in building this nation, Yanya Wilder, the nation workers will take over. Shall I repeat it? Those of us who are interested in building Ghana as a nation, if we don't stand up and be aggressive and vehement in our stand, the nation workers will take over. I'm going to explain why I'm saying all of this, but I beg you, in the meantime, just one quick announcement. Before I explain all of this, I just want to remind everybody again that on September 6th, we are starting our buffet, Sunday buffet at the Cactus Creek. It's an amazing place, and I want all of you to come there for the Sunday buffet starting September 6th. Outside of the buffet too, from now on, between now and for the next 3 weeks, anybody who wants to make a reservation for a conference or accommodation between Monday and Wednesday gets a great 10% discount. So call the Cactus number and make a reservation. If anything at all, reserve your spot for Sunday, September 6th. I'll be there myself to serve.
My stay at Cactus Creek was absolute perfection from start to finish. The check-in was super smooth, fast, and the staff made me feel right at home with the friendliest vibes. Every part of the place was aesthetically pleasing. Then came the room. It was elegant, stylish, spacious, and insanely comfortable. Basically a cozy little sanctuary. Every interior detail and accent matched the vibe so naturally, creating this incredible, wholesome atmosphere. I wanted to take it all in before heading to the restaurant to order something. I must commend them for their prompt service. Their menu is practically endless. You could try something new every single day. And for the weather, their drinks are refreshing and cool. My favorite part was taking a walk by the poolside and soaking in the sun and looking out on the scenery beyond. Now let's talk about the food, because every single meal was a masterpiece. From rich flavors to gorgeous plating, these delectable dishes did not disappoint. Before heading back to the poolside, I had to check out their gift shop and cafe. It's packed with unique finds, amazing coffee, and sweetest treats to fuel your day. Truly, Cactus Creek hit all the right notes. Trust me, you would definitely want to book your stay here soon. Until then, bye!
Now we are back. Let me tell you why I say my eye read. Folks, listen, I have had all these talk about the GOLDBOD here, GOLDBOD there, and I've listened and I've really examined what is going on. And for me, I am upset. Even before I talk about how and why I'm upset, let me give a big up to JM for coming up with this GOLDBOD issue. JM, big up. Let me big up Atoforsen, and let me big up Sami Gyamfi. And folks, listen to me. My prayer today is that GOLDBOD should be forever. My prayer today is that GOLDBOD should be forever. Let me explain something, folks. Every country is blessed with a certain commodity. Didn't our own His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo say some time ago, and so come the end. That is what Nana Akufo-Addo said.
Yaya mobo wa Ghana. Yetisikaso, omenyo hiamai. Nenam amemua enko yentino. Come the end.
And all of us agree to it. NDC, NPPC, whatever you are, that was a nationalistic statement. Yetisikaso, and so come the end. Everybody agrees to that. Now, we have now entered a regime which is not only talking about yetisikaso, and so come the end. This act of the GOLDBOD is that JM is actually putting those words into action. There were so many concerns regarding our gold in Ghana. Number one, we are blessed to be sitting on gold. I tell you every time, when the colonialists named Ghana Gold Coast, it was because when they came here, it was the amount of gold that they saw. I'm saying, no, higher Gold Coast. And that's why they named it Gold Coast, because there is plenty gold that we are sitting on. And they said, Charlie, these Negroes, let us come and exploit their gold and then give them some chicken feed. They'll be happy. And that is what has been happening. We have all these big gold companies, Newmont, Anglo Gold, in Ghana, exploiting our gold, taking all the profits out. And let me remind all of you folks, currency is backed by gold reserves. The almighty dollar, the dollar, the strength of the dollar is based on its gold reserves. Dollar strength is based on gold reserves. So imagine this, we are here in Ghana, we are sitting on the gold, we let them come and take the gold cheaply. The gold no call. Then we go and borrow the dollars. And Jimmy, we go for a loan, yakoji dollar. The reason we are going for the dollar is because the dollar is strong, the dollar has a lot of value, and it's better than our cedi. Until we will go for the loan. Forgetting that the dollar itself, the strength of the dollar is based on the US gold reserve. You need to go to Ghana. So what sense does it make that we who are sitting on the gold, we give it away cheaply for people to benefit, and then we go to those same people to benefit, say, we're giving you gold, so give us a loan. It doesn't make sense. It is stupid. And for what it's worth, the gold board symbolizes the realization that it is Kaso. And so, Yadani Yamai, it symbolizes the realization that it is Kaso,
and we achieved the IMF benchmark or target for gross international reserves for 2028 in just 1 year in 2025. So that is how revolutionary the contribution of Gold Board relative to foreign exchange generation has been as far as 2025 is concerned. We played our role in supporting gold reserve accumulation. So far, we bought in excess of close to 2 metric tons of gold on our own for the Bank of Ghana last year and this year put together to support gold reserve accumulation, and we are still at it. Aside that, in terms of value addition, as I indicated yesterday, this year we have begun the local refining of the gold we produce in Ghana.
What is wrong with that? With all respects, people like Oppong, Nkrumah, and Abena, Asare, you are actually a deputy to King of Satire. Amin was now a deputy in finance. With all respects, you are the people with the finance background. When my economics know, didn't you know or realize that the potential we have, as your leader once said, yetisikaso, and so didn't you realize that? And if now we say we're going to start on our gold to make the difference, what is all the wahala? What is all the wahala? Look, there are some things that we need to remember that we need in this country. One, we needed all this time to make sure that we had strong foreign exchange. We need to make sure that we stabilize our currency. We need to make sure that we end the gold smuggling. Amin Gold Board, I think over since he's been in power, so far it has realized $17 billion.
We helped in generating over $10.8 billion in foreign exchange earnings. US dollars. $10.8 billion US dollars in foreign exchange earnings from the purchase and export of artisanal small-scale mining gold alone. And that helped the Bank of Ghana to intermediate about $10.6 billion for the market. This brought about FX market stability. It helped the currency appreciate by over 41%, something we've not seen in decades. Reserves, gross international reserves, increased from $8.9 billion to $13.8 billion by December 2025. That is a nominal increase of about $4.8 billion in 1 year.
Imports cover.
Almost 5.7 months, okay? In 1 year, a nominal increase of $4.8 billion, when in 8 years, the previous government only increased it by $4.1 billion. We increased it by $4.8 billion.
To settle this matter once and for all, I brought to this auditorium a copy of the annual report and financial statements of the Gold Board, prepared and published by the Auditor General, not Sami Jemfi and the Gold Board. We don't audit ourselves. Now, if you check page 12 of this report, you will see that the Gold Board on its own, from its own operations, generated total revenue of close to 1 billion Ghana cedis and kept expenditure just around 109 million Ghana cedis. And so that is what we mean by operational profit or surplus of 907 million. It means that if you took all the revenue we generated as an organization and you deducted our expenditure from it, we had 907 million left. Now, because in the 2025 budget statement, government budgeted a revolving seed capital as equity for the newly established Gold Board of 4.5 billion Ghana cedis, which monies hit our account on or about 30th of December 2025. Those funds had to be added to the revenue of the Gold Board because they were not encumbered, they were not depleted, they were not dissipated. And that is why the overall surplus is 5.4 billion.
Folks, imagine that all of this would have been money being taken away by smugglers and middlemen, free. This 17 billion that we have today, that was generated by the Gold Board, would have gone free. The same amount would have gone free. Now that amount is in Ghana. What's your problem? That the amount is in Ghana, and so what? And what many people, including all of those who are making noise about the cost, Yaboka 1.7 billion, the cost, you are not thinking. I'm putting it to directly today that you are not thinking. Because, Massa, what Ghanaians do not understand is that there's a difference between cost and value. All you in the front line of agitation won't see the difference between what the cost is and what the value is. Obisi makoto what do you call it? A mobile phone. Chale makoto mobile phone. We turn $2,000. We say what? $2,000 makoto no. At the end of the day, no, I'm using the mobile phone to make my business connections. I'm using to do that. I'm using to do that. I'm using to do that. And through the use of the mobile phone, we say menya $15 million. The cost of $1,000. Am I going to cry and say, yeah, Charlie, me bought $1,000? So when I know now that economy boy, I've made 15 million from it. Isn't it? It is so simple. That's why I kept quiet for a long time, because I was saying that this thing looks very, very simple. It's not complicated math. This is common sense math. It looks so simple. Maybe I don't understand it, so I'll keep quiet. Honestly. They were so loud that I said, maybe there's something I don't understand, so let me keep quiet. But after sitting down and studying things and now understanding things, I know clearly, even when it comes to laws, economics, finance, I can't say there's something called quantitative laws and there's something called qualitative laws. Just apply that to see whether we meet the laws.
The first two sources of the laws were money that the central bank paid to Gold Board on behalf of buying and exporting the gold on its behalf. So they actually constitute revenue to the Gold Board. And I don't understand why somebody will call revenue as a loss. So from the Gold Board perspective, those two components of the loss are revenues. Okay? It is a cost to the central bank. Who paid it? To them. Their revenues. The third one, the most significant, the one that constitutes almost 90% of this loss, the 1.7 billion, was simply due to valuation technique. What does that mean? If Gold Board purchases the gold on behalf of central bank at, say, 12 cedis to the dollar from the miners, and it is exported and the revenue comes, if the central bank, by law, all central banks have currency reference rates that are always lower than the Forex Bureau rates. By law, it's central bank. So when this money comes in, the central bank needs to convert that into cedis in its books. And if it converts the dollars using lower rates, they could use higher rates. That will reflect as a loss. So it is merely book accounting issue, but not a significant loss to the nation. So if the central bank use 10 to value it, then there's a margin of 2 per ounce. There's a margin of 2 per ounce. And multiplied by the total ounces in the economy, that would blow out to be a significant loss. So and we need to also be extremely careful, especially in accounting and economics. You need to be very careful. The first two component of the laws that we talk. Actually, if you look deep into it, it is one government agency paying another government agency same amount. So to the government, its monetary authority, which is the central bank, has made that loss. To the government, its gold board has made that gain. Plus and minus, there's no cost. It is left hand given to the right hand.
Focus. So all I'm saying is this, Ghana for, start understanding that the cost is there and the value is there. Sometimes the cost can be high, but when you realize the value you get from that high cost, they realize that, oh, then it was worth the cost. This is, and I mean, simple. But that's why I say, Charlie, in the beginning, when I was introducing myself, I say, those of us, and plenty of us out there, who believe in nation building are more fortunate. Let's say Yanyan or Dimpa, because Yanyan or Dinya will allow nation records to derail. All this talk about GOLDBOD. What is the crime that Sami Jemfi and GOLDBOD has committed right now as we speak? The only crime is that they've made for Ghana $17 billion. When in our history, from the time we started going to IMF and borrowing, you are there. You can send me a text or comment section, say, okay, KSM, stop. We have borrowed more than 17 billion from the IMF before. Come and tell me. Okay, they look supposed to pay, then they give you 2 billion, they give you 3 million, 2, 1, no, and if finance minister is bold enough to say, IMF yama who built.
17 times we turned to the IMF for a bailout. We are determined that the 17 times shall be the last.
We have also come to the end of the IMF program. We inherited the IMF program from the previous government. At the time we took over from the previous government, all the agreed performance indicators were out of track. It meant that the program was in danger of derailment. And so in the first quarter, after we took over, we had to take some stringent action to bring the program back into alignment and bring it back on track. And I'm happy to report that we're able to do that. The first mission that came approved the program, the second mission approved it, and the final mission just left Ghana last week, and they have given us a satisfying mark for performance. It's now going to the board, and the board will release the last tranche of $380 million to support the Ghanaian economy. But we're not going to have a kinky party, because we believe that it is still work in progress. Unlike others who left the IMF and held wachi and kinky parties, happy to be free from the IMF, we are not doing that, because we know that our economy still needs a lot of work to be done. And it is my hope that this is the last time that Ghana will go to the IMF for a bailout. We must be able to manage our affairs in such a way that we don't go cap in hand begging anybody to come and bail us out.
Do you think this is good news for the IMF? Maza, let me use Cactus Creek as an example. Let's say I'm running my company, Cactus Creek, and we buy all our vehicle supplies from, let's say, Volvo. We buy our buses, our sedans, our trucks, everything we buy from Volvo. And then all of a sudden, Volkswagen calls me that, KSM, we need to have a meeting with you. And I say, oh, please come. And then Volkswagen comes and tries to convince me, say, Charlie, this is Volvo you are buying, and yet petrol straight to Volkswagen. so that we can give you whatever. The reason VW to come to me and try and convince me to stop using Volvo is because they know the amount of money Volvo is getting from me and they want to be the beneficiaries. Simple, common sense. Class 1, common sense. It's the same bloody thing we're going through with this, all this talk about the IMF report, the IMF report, the IMF report. Let me say this, Ghana 4. I've said this before. Let me say it again. It is not in the interest of the IMF that Ghana decides to it is not in their interest. Why? Because the amount of money we pay back when we borrow money from them is 10 times more than the amount of money we borrow. And not only do we pay back the money, do you know the conditionalities? They call them conditionalities. Say, I'm up at 3 billion, we'll give it to you. But before I give it to you, they cut the service, and with you. Yahweh say, and with you. Yahweh say, and with you. They give you stringent conditions that affect the people of Ghana. But they give you those conditions if you want to borrow from them. You take those conditions, put your people under those stringent conditions, and then you suffer to pay the loan. And the loan you pay is not the same amount they give you. If you're interested in the money, you are paid like 4 times more the amount of money you borrowed. So I'm saying this, folks, it is not in the interest of the IMF for Ghana to establish its own gold board. It is not in the interest of the IMF. Say Ghana, say Charlie, sikana yete sono. I am a sikama. Say ye control your idea. The money we have, the wealth we have, what makes us powerful as a country, our gold. From now on, we are setting up a gold board that will sit on that gold and control. It is not good news for the IMF. For me, I remember when Ato Forson paid off the IMF loan.
This announcement marks the definitive end of Ghana's financial bailout relationship with the IMF.
You remember when we're celebrating essentially we have now exited from the IMF deal, all this blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden they say, oh, but now the IMF says we have done well, so they are going to help us to coordinate things until we'll find some collaboration. I'm not explaining it properly as it was said before, but that's the idea.
And so we've agreed with the IMF to replace the extended credit facility with a policy coordination instrument. It means that every 6 months, we and the IMF will sit down and look at how our reforms are going and see whether we are still maintaining the kind of discipline that we started with or things are not going very well. And so we'll still have a program, technical assistance with the IMF, but it will not be exactly a program. And there's no bailout involved in this.
We are done with the IMF, but they say, oh, Charlie, you have done well. Now let us become some kind of partner so that we can help and advise you and monitor you and all of that. My surprise was that Ghana agreed. It shocked me to know, and then I did a program on that. Said, maybe I don't understand it, but to me it's a no-brainer. Ato Forson, JM, NDC. If you had the brains and the understanding of how to manage the fiscal policy in such a way that Ghana made enough to go and pay the loan.
When we came into office, the crisis that faced us was very difficult. In my own imagination, I thought that we'll need about 2 years to begin to see a turnaround. That's what I thought. But Ebenezer, this is how far God has brought us. We're all surprised and shocked at the quick turnaround. Anytime I meet the IMF officials and the World Bank officials, they themselves cannot believe, what has happened in Ghana. So Ghana has now become the poster boy, of the IMF and the World Bank. So when they go to other African countries, they say, don't you see Ghana? Look at what Ghana has done. I mean, to bring inflation from 23.8% to 5.4% in 1 year. I mean, how did we manage that? For the first time to see our long-suffering Ghanaian currency, the cedi, that has been taking a beating over the years. Dollars have been arrested, they've broken jail and all that. For the first time to see the Ghanaian cedi appreciate by 37% in 1 year. The IMF gave us a primary balance of 1.5%. And 2025, our primary balance is 2%, higher than the IMF gave.
Then trust me, that same level of intelligence, that same level of understanding of finance will lead you to the second step. We don't need any support from IMF today, tomorrow. That's the support they're giving us, so pointing out to us that there was this cost and there was this, that. Please, Massa, let us be serious as a country. Now, I talked about cost and value. Say, oh, we're talking the cost. Let us talk about the value of what we have gained from that cost. Do you know the value we have gained? All of a sudden, the cedi's performance has outperformed even the dollar and major currencies in this world. This is one of the values. The cost. We don't think about the value. Another value is that even our GDP has risen. Another value is that now we have foreign exchange.
We helped in generating over $10.8 billion in foreign exchange earnings. US dollars. You know, $10.8 billion US dollars in foreign exchange earnings from the purchase and export of artisanal small-scale mining gold alone. And that helped the Bank of Ghana to intermediate about $10.6 billion you know, for the market. This brought about FX market stability. It helped the currency appreciate by over 41%, something we've not seen in decades. Reserves, gross international reserves, increased from $8.9 billion to $13.8 billion by December 2025. That is a nominal increase of about $4.8 billion in 1 year.
Imports cover.
Almost 5.7 months, okay? In 1 year, a nominal increase of $4.8 billion, when in 8 years, the previous government only increased it by $4.1 billion. We increased it by $4.8 billion.
And above all, one of the greatest values is that smuggling has been nipped in the bud. All these artisanal miners who didn't know what to do, and they were smuggling. Now the gold board is now there to make sure that they purchase the gold and you do not have to smuggle it. So all the money that is coming in now is because the smuggling has been halted. So to all of you intelligent people out there who are leading this charge on GOLDBOD, does this make sense? Either it makes so much sense and KSM is so stupid. You find this out. It makes so much sense for you, but it's KSM who is so stupid. I'm so stupid that I appreciate the fact that the establishment of the GOLDBOD alone has made Ghana earn $17 billion, which the IMF would have never given us. They give you $3 billion, and then they give you all the conditionalities to follow. So maybe I'm stupid, but I appreciate this value. And those of you who are thinkers, who are economists, who are brain people, you tell me, let's continue to go to IMF to borrow the $3 billion. It's better for us as a nation. Maybe that's what you think. That is fine. Folks, stop wasting our years with cost. And start thinking about the value of what the cost has generated. Do you know what I was thinking of? Simply just trying to understand this whole situation. It's just like Cactus Creek. The whole hotel is called Cactus Creek, but there are departments. We have the food and beverage. we have accommodation, we have the entertainment side, we have all these other aspects of a hotel. Let's say I invest, let's say 1 million Ghana cedis. Say I want to start a campaign called The Sights and Sounds of Cactus, so come and experience it. And so I use 1 million cedis as the cost of that publicity campaign. And then gradually I have ads in the papers, on TV, on social media, that people are now trooping to Cactus Creek. In the first month, maybe 100 people came, second month, 200, 500. Now I have thousands of people trooping to Cactus Creek. And the benefits are coming in as accommodation, as entertainment, as all aspects of the hotel are benefiting from this. So I'm thinking, so if I spend 1 million cedis to do this campaign, and 5 months later I'm realizing that the people that are rushing to Cactus Creek is unimaginable. And through their visits, they are now doing accommodation, they are now doing the entertainment, they are now doing food and beverage. Through all of that now, Cactus Creek has in 3 months and 24 million Ghana cedis. Then I go to I go and beat the board, and I apologize to the board. So, board, I'm sorry because I spent 1 million cedis. So even though Cactus has made 25 million, no, that's not important. The value of what I spent is not important too. It is the cost. So all you people, I'm daring you. That's why I call this nation wrecking. Why do you think the Arab Emirates and the Huawei are so powerful? One reason, oil. They have the oil, and they have exploited their oil, and they are using their oil, and they have become very, very powerful. What do we have? We have our gold. So it is up to us. Say yetisikama. That's the theory. The theory is yetisika so. That is the theory. The practical is that yetisika so. In the basic gold board, you control your sikano. And that is not very good news for Bretton Woods. All the people who will go to and beg for no curfew. How? Don't get me wrong. They are not that happy. IMF cannot be that happy. Like Ghana says, we won't borrow from you again. You know why? Because they are afraid that this could have a trickle over effect. All of a sudden, Gabon to say, okay, I'm going to sit on my gold. When you say I'm going to sit on my gold, when you say I'll sit on my lithium, when you say I'll sit on my lithium and control it, where do we get the freaking money? That is why the gold board is a threat, not just to IMF, to the US, to the UK, to the Britain, to all these major Western financial institutions that give us local. The event of the gold board is a threat. Common sense. They will not be happy. In the beginning, I used this simple example. Say, Volkswagen, Abahose Chale, switch cars, and say. The fact of the money they are going to be losing hurts them. The possibility that if Ghana stands out, that Ghana was bold enough to take a decision, may ripple over Africa to other countries who may also take similar stance to protect their minerals. That is a very scary thought for Abrofono. Folks, sometimes you guys think we are just here to talk for nothing. You think nation building is easy? You're trying to build your nation by taking control of your biggest asset. Now, gold. You are trying to build your nation by taking control of your biggest asset, which is gold. And there are some people also on the sidelines fighting you. Fighting you over cost. And completely oblivious of the tremendous value. Listen, I'm sorry, I don't have the specifics like that, though, but how much was Ghana owing? Ghana debt in billions of dollars. 700 billion, more. This is so much debt. The fact that Ghana used our gold alone, which in effect boosted our currency, which in effect gave Ghana CD the power to rise from 17 to exchange at 17 now to somewhere between 10 and 11. That alone eroded a kayedeno without anything. That the value of the CD alone eroded almost 30% of the kayedeno. Now, Pacho, where Jimmy know the value of this? Are you okay? That through the stroke of establishment for GOLDBOD alone, it has eroded our external debt massively. You don't see the value of this? You know what saddens me? What saddens me, say, oh, we see it. Not only do we see it, we know it. Not only do we see it and know it, we don't care. Why don't we care? Because this NDC should not stay in power. JM should not stay in power. And if it's the GOLDBOD which is going to help enhance him to be in power, they are no. It's time for us to come to power. Let's undermine it. Let's derail it. Now, this is what they call in tree abroni beye. Me say name many abreo. This is what they call in tree abroni beye. Say mabokanti. Now, giddy. The whole nation has come to a standstill because the nation records say we should scrap GOLDBOD. There was this very young man, an intelligent young man, who was saying recently that Sammy Jeffy should get ready to go to jail for the GOLDBOD.
Now, Mate say, Obi, I friend Sammy Jeffy say, Odu Jones Roche, Monkajan say, or down the year. Afenyo Wasumje, 2029, I dear friend Asumje, the only bidder. Because your evidence, no, a cry IMF. Your evidence, no, a cry IMF. And then I go to Sikadia Basa Wokromwe. Ghana for Mumbre. Ghana for Mumbre. Okokaya si dollar abafom. Dollar na abafom wa bottom. Abafom I was a major bottom.
And the most stupid thing he said was that, you know who our witness is? The World Bank is our witness. Oh God. Kwame Ture, where are you? The effects of colonialism has not only made us stupid, but ignorant in our stupidity. And that one. The effects of colonialism has not only made us stupid, but ignorant in our stupidity. It is only an ignorant person who in their stupidity will say, your evidence or IMF. Your evidence? You have done something that is threatening the IMF. And they are telling you, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And they are the one giving you the evidence. Come to Remedase. That is ignorance in our stupidity. Charlie, so I'm going to wrap up soon. And I want Ghanaians to understand that those who do not learn from the mistakes of the past are doomed to repeat it. Do you know that this thing has happened before in Ghana? Not in the same way. It wasn't like a GOLDBOD issue. But I remember, those of you who have access to Kwame Nkrumah's books, read the book called The Dark Days in Ghana. And I think it's either page 90 or 90, somewhere. You read the whole book. He talks about this, that how when the Notorious Liars Council, that they call the NLC, when they took over power, and all the lies, I think that chapter is called The Big Lie. All the lies they told about Kwame Nkrumah and all the debt they said he created, say £200 million. They listed the whole range of debt that they say Nkrumah had left for Ghana. And Nkrumah, in his book, Dark Days in Ghana, was replying that you guys were so stupid that when you have a ledger, you have the liabilities, which is the money that has been taken away. And then you have the assets, which is the money that you have earned. Assets, money that you have earned, and liabilities, money that has been taken away. Nkrumah said, why are you just looking at the liabilities? Say, I borrowed this and I borrowed that and I borrowed that. And using, say, Maboka 200 million pounds. And he says, why don't you look at the assets? I built the whole of Tema as an industrial city. I built the silos, I built the dam, I built the motorway, I built hundreds of schools. I did this. He listed the things that he had done, Injustice in Kwa, over 100, that he spent the money to build. Now that he has spent the money to build, these things have become assets. And assets make money. But you come and in your eternal wisdom, you close all these assets and come on, you close all of them and destroy all the assets. And then you look at the liability and say, a car in your boy. Nkrumah says, do you know the value of the assets that I left your country, you guys in Ghana? Do you know the value of the assets I left you? Temahabo, motorway, silos, name them. Do you know the assets? Do you know the value of these assets? And you close your eyes to all of that, and all you talk about is the cost of work. Look, Ghana, that's why I'm saying, Charlie, those of us who believe in nation building, we must stand up aggressively. Me, my eye read the power. Now they say the matter is in court, so let the court also look at this thing. And at the end of the day, throughout the court proceedings, I am hoping that Ghanaians will realize how colonial, not all Ghanaians, those of you who are against, those of you who are nation wreckers, will realize how colonial your thinking is. And whenever you remember how colonial your thinking is, remember Stokely Carmichael. Colonialism has not only come to make us stupid, but ignorant in our stupidity. So I beg you, Sami Jemfi, JM, all of you out there, let us protect the gold board with our souls. Can I get a little biblical here? You may like this part. God told humanity when he created the humanity, he says, I've created the earth and I've created you, but I want you to dominate the earth. Take control of the earth. This is an instruction from God for those of you who believe in the Bible. He says, I want you to dominate, take dominion of the earth. So now let me leave my Bible and come to practicality. If JM has decided to say we are taking control of our gold, dominion of our gold, and then somebody who was giving us petty cash says, oh, no, watch out, you are not doing the right thing. And then you have intelligent people in Ghana quoting them. And as I IMF say, look at the IMF report, they're reading someone who on TV, so the IMF report, the IMF. What is the interest of the IMF? Where in the world, let me say this today, I could be wrong because it's not based on any data, but where in the world does any country appreciate the way the city has done? It be mad. Even when JM was running during the elections, I kept saying, hey, JM, this bankrupt economy that you're going to inherit, what are you going to do with it? And people that I was talking about said, Charlie, maybe they can do something. But even that we were thinking, say, JM will have to be in power for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Then we'll start feeling the effects of changes. But the real Wizkid are too forcing. My man trained that long ago. He came in and immediately started blocking loopholes, starting cutting the things, started austere financial measures, so that the 3 years that we have given, say, better than we first know, we saw them in 3 months. The city was rising, said they were bottom. City to Boko. City was appreciating that there was no tomorrow. GDP was as inflation. Inflation. As all dive to swim, diving like crazy, because of whatever policy that are to put in place to implement. Which in the beginning, the naysayers also say we're crashing. Nothing is happening. It's just luck.
Do you know why the city is stable? The city is stable not because Dr. Forson at the finance ministry is doing anything special. It's because government is not spending. It's because contractors are not being paid. It's because there's no liquid in the circulating in the economy.
It's temporal. It is not any economic gurus in this country that is causing the city to appreciate and the dollar to depreciate. It is the wealth market that they are not demanding the dollars as much as they used to. That is why there's no competition, and supply of dollar is exceeding the demand. As simple as that. These are basic economics principles. So we have to be careful with what we are saying about interest rate and all those things. It's not magic. It is the world economy that is falling apart, and the demand for the dollar has gone down.
The appreciation of the cedi that we have seen recently. I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the cedi, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact.
Now that you have realized it's not luck, now that you have realized that Nenye Lako, now that you have realized that the strong anchor got the GOLDBOD, which has been set up, is responsible for all these great things happening, now you're going attacking the GOLDBOD. First, Baumia idea.
Domestic gold purchase, who brought it? Program, Baumia. Who brought domestic gold purchase to shore up our reserves? Baumia. Then who brought the other angle? And he said we are going to extend it into foreign currency. Inti mekaya Dr. Baumia Akufo-Addo Embreso MPP Aban and na san hyehyɛ no bae.
Stop this. Folks, I say my only regret today is not I'm not wearing red. But I'm going to end now. But I'm appealing to everybody. This, if I will call nonsensical, this, if I will call immature, this, if I will call childish interpretation or misinterpretation between cost and value, is killing this nation. And if we nation builders sit down and allow the wreckers who are full of abronibriye to come and derail this agenda, you see where Ghana will be. Let me end for now. And in the end, let me say, JM for establishing this GOLDBOD, whatever thought process went through, whoever joined you to bring this, we congratulate you. JM, to Forson, the Bank of Ghana, everything. Hardships will come in the beginning. There will be a lot of rough points here and there. But overall, Massa, the value exceeds the cost by 1,000,000 times. It will mean starting near Ghana is on the rise, and I'm telling you, no matter what you do, GOLDBOD has come to say, and Ghana will surely rise again.